Do you like anyone who's on lock? I don't. I think being embarrassing is really hot. My taste, I like when things have spaces to fill. I don't love perfected items. Like I really like audience engagement. I love things that have internal lives, even photographs like the ones that we did today. There's so much behind them. It feels like they brought an entire life to them. And stuff that needs to be, things that feel compulsive, things that feel like that if they didn't exist in the world, then we would be lacking. My favorite movies are always ones that leave you wondering. I think Anatomy of a Fall is, I was at the edge of my seat, my fingers were kind of here, and I was like gleefully watching. I was bellowing in the theater. I've seen it twice, which is required. It's one of those movies that you have to take in twice. Barbie, like I do backflips for that movie. Can't believe that she did that. It was an absolute magic trick that she was able to sort of get that under everyone's noses and on such a grand scale. There's a Proust joke in that movie. She calls Barbie a fascist. I was doing really, really happy cartwheels in the theater. Zone of Interest is a masterpiece. It's a movie that we don't make movies like that anymore. Everything is there and nothing is overt, but it is the most undigestible thing. I need to watch it again, but I also can't imagine approaching it again. I really like Bottoms. That's a really good theater experience. Watching that with other bodies is so much fun. I felt like I was with a bunch of kids and they were all like hooting and hollering and being loud and annoying and stupid, and I was like, this is the most fun ever. What do I watch all the time? Practical Magic, now and then. There's a Christmas movie, Fanny and Alexander. The breadth of life in that movie will destroy you, but it is also very beautiful. It's stunning, and it's one of my favorite movies. A book I cannot stop recommending is Bluets, over and over and over. The Power Broker this year, over and over and over. I have so much catch up to do because I actually didn't go to school for very long because I started making movies instead. And so I rarely fall in love with contemporary female writers, but I feel like right now something's happening. There's like this sort of like collective consciousness thing that is waking up and going, oh, excuse me. We need to contextualize this shame and this pain because we don't want to wear it constantly, but we do have to acknowledge it and repossess it. And I find it's embedded in everything. I read lately, there's this book called Heroines. It's about the sort of mad wives of modernism being silenced. The idea that we cultivate these men and pamper them and give them everything they need in order to be geniuses. And if we even suggest that we want to go down a rabbit hole, we're pathologized and insane. And we've only just stopped doing that. And I think there's just an entire body of expression and an entire new language that needs to be sort of the girls, really cool, like a sort of adjacent perspective of a very well-known story, which is like, I think the Manson stuff, but it's like, imagine if there was a girl there that never actually got all the way through and like didn't commit the murders, but was there right up until the moment, and what that would do to a woman growing up. The way that she writes about this sort of tiny violences, not the big ones. The ways in which we feel small around men when they're not serial killers, but when they're like, you know, mad at you for dropping the beer. There's a book called Minor Characters. I think it's like Jack Kerouac's girlfriend wrote a memoir-esque book, and in addition to a novel. But those are boys that I have just like hero worshipped and been obsessed with my whole life. And they have really lit many fires and like really like kind of made me the person I am in so many ways. But then you read this woman's kind of version of the same time. Those are the movies that I want to make. I'm trying to grow out of wanting to make all my favorite books movies because it just doesn't always require it. I guess if something feels like it has a body, if something wants to get up and start running, I don't think I don't love adaptations that are very true. I love when movies that are based on films feel like someone got a real hair in their ass and had to just go make their own thing inspired by. I've had to kind of remind myself, like, just because you love something doesn't mean it's necessarily a movie. It's like you have to look for that feeling. Getting older, you start really trying to source why you do stuff, and then you just kind of turn into yourself at 12. and all of the ways that I tried to kind of like prove I wasn't one thing. You know, you imagine people expect things from you even when they don't, and being kind of fixated on other people's perceptions of you is a kind of a young thing. I'm not saying everyone needs to grow out of that. Other people's perceptions of you exist, and they're very meaningful. Like, being a human is about exchange. When I go to get dressed, nowadays, I literally just want to wear a uniform. I just want to be working. Like, I just, unless we're creating a character, or unless we're really unpacking affectation, everything is nonsense. Everything is bullshit. Unless you are naked, it is just, I don't know, like, we're all just like lying to and manipulating each other all the time. And I mean that without any negative connotation. We just like want to get through, to come across. And, we have to try and do that every day. Like, packing is the worst thing. I'd rather never do it again, as long as you have to like get dressed 10 times, but in like an hour's length of time. It's like the worst. I hate getting dressed. That's why I wear the same thing every day. It's okay to be embarrassing. I think being embarrassing is really hot. And we spend so much of our time like being like, oh, I spend so much of my time going like, what just happened? How did that, oh no. And you're like, yeah, but do you like anyone who's on lock? I don't. I really like the messy stuff. And so like, just don't wear whatever, you know? Because then you will be cool, even if you're wearing like a sack. I'm really obsessed with mannequin pussy lately. They've got a really sultry and positive growl that is just like shoving our faces in like the bush of being a woman. And I love them for that. Just such a good band. For anyone that's in love, I recommend listening to Alice Coltrane. All of it. The Beatles. Do you know what I mean? Literally just, I would just go for that low hanging fruit, like the 3-minute ones, you know? There's something about that. Yeah, Alice Coltrane and the Beatles. I'm really into dice. I just like I like throwing them. I like the heft, not knowing what's gonna come out, placing bets, taking little signs from them, like if I roll a 3 then, but then like being like, fuck, I didn't get the 3, so I don't roll 10 more times. I'm into chin-ups lately, but that's just pretty obvious.